You know that feeling. When you need to get your head around something complex, like really fast, understand the big moments, the hidden stuff, without wading through everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do here.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We give you that shortcut to insight. We take a bunch of sources, pull out the key stuff you need, make it, efficient and interesting.
We do the sifting so you can get right to the core of it. Informed, but not overwhelmed.
And today we are diving deep into a really pivotal chunk of the Harry Potter story. We've got bits from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, a serious turning point.
Definitely. And our sources are pretty varied, too. We've got narrative bits, chapter titles, even an in memoriam, and a look into that, well, controversial Dumbledore biography.
It's a fascinating mix, and when you put them all together, you see these massive shifts happening.
Right. So our mission today is to shine a light on those key turning points, track how the main characters are changing, developing, and look at the new mysteries that pop up in these sections.
Okay, let's jump in. The start. The Dursleys departing. It throws you right back into that house, but things feel different. Uncle Vernon, naturally, is digging his heels in about Harry leaving.
But what's interesting is how quickly he changes his tune. I
Yeah.
mean, after years wanting Harry gone, suddenly he's hesitant. It's driven by actual, real fear this time.
Yeah, you could feel the danger. And then Daedalus Diggle and Hestia Jones turn up, not just for Harry, but to get the Dursleys somewhere safe, too.
Which really shows how widespread the threat is, doesn't it? Everyone knows Voldemort's back and what it means.
And then there's that moment, I think it caught a lot of people off guard. Dudley
Oh, yeah.
actually shakes Harry's hand and says something like, I don't think you're a waste of space.
It's small, but huge, right? After years of just bullying. It feels like maybe facing real danger made him see Harry differently, as a person.
It really speaks to that idea of empathy, maybe overcoming prejudice when things get serious.
Exactly. And this chapter also drops a massive bombshell. Pious thickness at the ministry. He's under the Imperious Curse.
Which explains why magical travel around Privet Drive is suddenly banned. No flu, no port keys, no apparition. Ostensibly for Harry's protection, but really.
Really, it's Voldemort controlling things from the inside. Anyone needing ministry clearance or cooperation for transport could be walking into a trap because thickness is basically a puppet.
It's pretty insidious.
And that leads directly to the Seven Potters plan, which is just audacious.
Totally. Using Polyjuice Potion, so you have 7 Harrys flying out to act as decoys.
It's incredibly risky, but they don't have many options.
And then, predictably perhaps, it goes wrong, badly wrong. A flight turns into an
A
ambulance.
brutal one. Death Eaters everywhere. And Voldemort himself shows up.
Just chaos in the sky.
And the cost is immediate. We find out straight away Mad-Eye Moody is gone.
A massive loss for the Order.
Huge. And there's confusion about who else made it, who might be hurt or captured.
And right in the middle of this, you see this conflict about how to fight back. Lupin is pushing Harry, basically saying, you need to use lethal force sometimes.
But Harry hesitates. He mentions disarming Voldemort earlier, not trying to kill him. It's that core moral struggle again, isn't it?
Absolutely. Can you use the dark arts to fight the dark arts? Or does that make you the same?
And Lupin's frustration is palpable. He sees the stakes rising, plus they get news about a mass breakout from Azkaban. Things are just spiraling.
So they finally make it to the Burrow, but it's not exactly a safe haven. George Weasley's been badly injured, lost an ear.
A permanent injury, a real reminder of the danger.
And then that incredibly raw confrontation between Harry and Lupin.
Oh, that was tough to read. Lupin offers to come with them, abandon Tonks, who's pregnant.
And Harry just lays into him, accuses him of cowardice, compares him to James. It's harsh.
It really is. You can see Harry feels abandoned, maybe disillusioned with the adults he trusted. Lupin's trying to do the right thing by his family, but Harry just sees it as running away when things get tough. It's fueled by grief and fear, I think.
Definitely a low point. And then, as if things weren't bad enough, the Daily Prophet arrives. Harry's face on the front page.
Public enemy number 1. The Ministry's narrative has completely turned against him.
And there's that photo, too, of the Dumbledore family. A little hint of secrets to come.
Yeah, a definite bit of foreshadowing about Dumbledore maybe not being quite the straightforward hero Harry thought he was.
Okay, so the mood shifts, temporarily at least, for the wedding. Bill and Fleur. A moment of light in the darkness.
It really is. It shows the Weasleys' resilience, trying to find joy even with everything going on. Harry's there too, but disguised as Cousin Barney.
Right, with the stolen red hair. highlights how he always has to hide, even among friends.
And we meet Xenophilius Lovegood, Luna's dad. He's Xenophilius.
Definitely eccentric.
Yeah.
And he has that odd, tense run-in with Victor Crumb over that symbol he's wearing.
That symbol seems minor then, but becomes hugely important later. Crumb recognizes it as Grindelwald's mark.
Planting a seed there. Then Harry talks to Alpheus Doge. Rita Skeeter's writing a biography of Dumbledore.
Yeah, the life and lies of Albus Dumbledore. And the gossip is already flying. Murky past, fishy family.
Doge gets really defensive, which just makes Harry more suspicious, right? Skeeter's hinting at Dumbledore maybe dabbling in the dark arts in his youth.
It starts chipping away at Harry's image of Dumbledore. Was he always so good?
And then Auntie Muriel weighs in with the really juicy and frankly disturbing gossip.
Oh, Muriel. Yeah, claiming Dumbledore's mother was Muggle-born, which was apparently scandalous then, and suggesting his sister, Ariana, was basically kept hidden, locked away, maybe a squib.
Really unpleasant stuff. And Muriel thinks Bathilda Bagshot, the historian, is Skeeter's source.
It paints a much darker, more complicated picture of the Dumbledore family history. The whole thing about Ariana is deeply unsettling.
But the wedding, this brief moment of peace, it just gets shattered.
Completely. Kingsley Shacklebolt's Patronus arrives. That booming voice announces the Ministry has fallen. Scrimgeour is dead. Voldemort has taken over.
Just devastating news. The entire structure of their world has collapsed.
It's a final confirmation. Voldemort's won, politically at least.
And then, boom. Death Eaters attack the wedding. The Burrow, the ultimate safe place, isn't safe anymore.
Total chaos. The fight is right there, personal and immediate. They have to get out fast.
Which leads them to Grimmauld Place. Seems like the only option left.
The Black family house, yeah, the last place Voldemort might think to look, maybe, but Harry's mind is clearly elsewhere.
Still reeling from the Dumbledore revelations. That perfect image is definitely cracking.
You can feel his disillusionment. This supposed safe house is filled with doubt for him now.
And they find something important there. Regulus Black's room. And that note on the door.
Do not enter without the express permission of Regulus Arcturus Black. Intense.
It immediately flags Regulus as important, connected to the Horcrux hunt.
Right, the locket. They search his room, but it's not there.
And then Creature. He actually tells them what happened. Mundungus Fletcher stole it, along with a lot of other Black family heirlooms.
Creature's story is surprisingly coherent here. You see his loyalty to Regulus, his hatred for Mundungus. It gives him a lead, at least, a very unreliable lead, but still.
And it shows Creature in a different light, too, his devotion to Regulus.
Definitely. But the atmosphere in Grimmauld Place is just awful. Tense, they're cooped up, not making progress.
And Ron's got the Deluminator, Dumbledore's gift, and he's just clicking it on and off, driving Hermione mad while she's trying to read the tales of Beetle the Bard.
Classic cabin fever, right? The pressure is getting to them. Small annoyances become huge.
And then Lupin shows up again.
With more terrible news. Scrimgeour definitely dead. Thickness is minister, but controlled by the imperious curse. The prophet is pure propaganda now.
The official world is completely lost to them.
Totally corrupted.
And then Lupin makes that offer again. To join them, leave Tonks.
Harry just explodes again. That earlier argument wasn't resolved, and he basically calls Lupin a coward for wanting to abandon his pregnant wife. It's brutal.
Really painful. Harry's feeling so isolated and burdened, he just lashes out. It severs that connection.
A really low moment for their relationship.
And just as they're dealing with that, who should turn up but Mundungus Fletcher?
Finally. Hermione disarms him instantly. So they have him, but still no locket. At least they have the thief.
Sort of. But getting information out of Mundungus is going to be challenging.
Understatement. So their next move is incredibly bold, maybe desperate.
Infiltrating the Ministry of Magic itself.
Yeah. While it's under Voldemort's control, Harry uses Polyjuice to become Albert Runcorn.
Must have been terrifying, walking into the lion's den like that.
And his encounters there, with Yaxley, with Thickness, they show just how much things have changed.
It's chilling, isn't it? The open prejudice against Muggle-borns, the talk of blood traitors. Fear is everywhere.
It shows how quickly that kind of hatred can become institutionalized. Thickness just casually talking about purging the Ministry. It's sickening.
And then they see her, Umbridge.
Of course, running the Muggle-born Registration Commission.
It's horrific. The whole process, the trials, the dehumanization. They even see Dementors escorting a Muggle-born away. Inside the Ministry.
It's a vision of hell, basically. Umbridge thriving in this environment tells you everything you need to know, The Dementors just underline the sheer despair and cruelty.
And Hermione, being Hermione, she can't just stand by. She tries to help the Muggleborns waiting for trial.
A brave but incredibly risky move, and it compromises their escape. Yaxley grabs onto her as she disapparates.
A disaster. It means Grimmauld Place isn't safe anymore. They end up somewhere else entirely, some woods.
Yeah, a huge setback. Yaxley knows they were using Grimmauld Place now. But there's one silver lining.
Hermione got the locket, snatched it from Umbridge during the chaos.
Amazing, really. Quick thinking under extreme pressure. So, mission's sort of accomplished, but at a huge cost.
This locket, it's not just an object. They can feel its darkness. It has this horrible influence.
Yeah, Horcruxes actively radiate evil, don't they? It affects their moods, makes them paranoid, angry.
And Harry's scar is constantly hurting. He keeps getting these visions from Voldemort, always seeing the face of this thief, the one who stole something from Grigorovich, the wand maker.
So the locket is weighing them down physically and emotionally, and these visions are adding another layer of mystery. Who is this thief? What did he steal?
It all feeds into the rising tension. They're stuck, they don't know how to destroy the locket, they're hunted, and they feel like they have no real plan.
Which leads to that massive row. Ron finally snaps.
Yeah. He basically says, what are we even doing? We're wandering around aimlessly, achieving nothing while our families are in danger. He doubts Harry's leadership, Dumbledore's plan.
It's brutal, but you can see where he's coming from. The pressure is immense, the hope is dwindling, he feels sidelined and useless.
And he leaves, just walks out.
Devastating for all of them.
So Harry and Hermione press on. They decide to go to Godric's Hollow.
A huge risk, but maybe necessary. It's where Harry was born, where his parents died. It's deeply tied to Dumbledore, too.
They visit the graveyard, find the Potters' graves. It's incredibly poignant.
A really emotional moment for Harry, connecting with his past like that.
And they see the Dumbledore family grave, too, with that inscription.
Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Cryptic. Feels important, but what does it mean?
Another Dumbledore puzzle. Then they decide to seek out Bathilda Bagshot. The historian, the one Muriel mentioned, maybe she knows something.
But the whole encounter is off. Right from the start, her house is neglected, feels wrong, and Bathilda herself seems incredibly frail, almost vacant.
It's deeply unsettling. Harry tries showing her the picture of the thief from his visions, Grigorovich's thief. No reaction.
And then the penny drops, or rather the snake strikes.
Oh, God, yeah. Bathilda isn't Bathilda. It's Nagini, Voldemort's snake, wearing her skin like a suit.
It's pure body horror, a terrifying trap they barely escape, and in the fight, Harry's wand breaks.
A disaster upon disaster.
Yeah.
No wand, Ron's gone, trapped in the snow.
It feels like rock bottom. And reeling from that attack, they finally read Skeeter's book, The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore.
And there's the photo, young Dumbledore with Gellert Grindelwald.
Confirming the rumors, they were close. Very close.
And the extracts from Dumbledore's letters to Grindelwald.
Wow. Yeah. Talking about wizarding rule, muggles being subservient for the greater good. It's shocking. Shows a very different side to the wise, benevolent headmaster.
A shared ideology of dominance. And Grindelwald getting kicked out of Durmstrang for twisted experiments. Dumbledore was friends with that guy.
It forces Harry and the reader to confront Dumbledore's flawed youth, his ambition, his questionable judgment.
The book also includes Bathilda's memories, presumably given before Nagini, about Ariana's death, the duel between Albus, Aberforth, and Grindelwald. Grindelwald fleeing, the brothers estranged.
It paints this picture of terrible tragedy and long-held secrets within the Dumbledore family. Ariana's death was clearly a defining, traumatic event.
So they're camping out, freezing, wandless, feeling hopeless, and then magic happens.
The Silver Doe, a Patronus, just appears in the forest.
Beautiful, mysterious, and it leads Harry to a frozen pool. And at the bottom,
The Sword of Gryffindor.
incredible. But trying to get it, the locket Horcrux around his neck tries to kill him, starts choking him underwater.
The Horcrux actively defending itself shows how truly evil these things are. Harry's about to drown.
And Ron comes back, out of nowhere.
Pulls Harry out, saves his life.
And then Ron, using the sword, destroys the locket. Finally.
A huge moment. Ron facing his own demons projected by the locket and overcoming them to destroy it. It's his redemption, really.
It's a powerful scene. And Ron explains how the Deluminator showed him the way back, led him to them. He also mentions running into Snatchers, pretending to be Stan Shunpike to get away.
Right, so he wasn't just abandoning them, he was lost in trying to get back. His return is crucial.
So the trio is reunited. They destroyed one Horcrux. But they need answers about that symbol Xenophilius was wearing. the Grindelwald symbol.
They decide to go ask him directly. Risky, but necessary. Meanwhile, Ron's tuning into Potter Watch on the radio.
Yeah, that underground broadcast. Lee Jordan, Lupin, Kingsley giving the real news. A small spark of resistance.
So they get to the Lovegoods, and Xenophilius explains the symbol. It's not just Grindelwald's mark, it's the sign of the Deathly Hallows.
The what now?
Exactly. The Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, the Invisibility Cloak. From the tale of the three brothers in Beetle the Bard.
Hermione's read this story, thinks it's just a fairy tale, a moral lesson.
But Xenophilius insists they're real. Objects that supposedly make one the master of death.
And Harry has a sudden realization. His invisibility cloak, it's incredibly old, incredibly powerful. Could it be the invisibility cloak? A hallow?
It reframes everything. Could Dumbledore have left him the Resurrection Stone and the Snitch? Is Voldemort seeking the Elder Wand?
A whole new layer to their quest opens up. But they don't get long to think about it.
No. Xenophilius, desperate because the Death Eaters have taken Luna, tries to hand Harry over to them. He eludes the Ministry.
Snatchers arrive. They have to fight their way out again. Xenophilius' betrayal, born of fear for his daughter, puts them right back in danger.
And this time, they don't get away clean. They're captured by Snatchers, led by Fenrir Greyback.
And taken to Malfoy Manor.
Probably the worst place they could end up. Heart of Death Eater territory. The Malfoys are there. Bellatrix Lestrange.
It's terrifying. They're identified. Bellatrix panics when she sees they might have the Sword of Gryffindor she thinks it should be in her Gringotts vault.
Which leads to that absolutely brutal scene. Bellatrix torturing Hermione with the Cruciatus curse, trying to get information.
It's horrific. Harry and Ron are helpless in the cellar. But they're not alone down there.
Right. They find Luna, Ollivander the Wand Maker, and Griphook the Goblin.
And then, who appears with a crack?
Dobby. Brave, loyal Dobby.
He helps them escape. Disarms Bellatrix, gets everyone out. But as they disapparate, Bellatrix throws her knife.
And it hits Dobby. He dies in Harry's arms on the beach outside Shell Cottage.
Just heartbreaking. His sacrifice saves them all. Here lies Dobby, a free elf. It's one of the most moving parts of the whole story.
Absolutely devastating. His loyalty and courage are just immense.
So they're safe. For now, at Shell Cottage, Bill and Fleur's place, they bury Dobby, and they talk to Ollivander.
And Ollivander confirms it. Voldemort is searching for the Elder Wand. He knows its history, its power, and he believes he took it from Dumbledore's tomb.
Ollivander explains about wand allegiance, how wands choose wizards, especially powerful ones like the Elder Wand.
Crucial information. They also talk to Griphook. Bill warns Harry about goblin ideas of ownership, how goblins believe goblin-made items belong to the maker, not the purchaser.
Which is important because Harry needs Griphook's help. He suspects there's another Horcrux in Bellatrix's vault at Gringotts, the cup, Hufflepuff's cup.
And he makes a deal. Griphook helps them break into Gringotts, and he gets the Sword of Gryffindor in return. A very risky bargain.
Incredibly risky. So the plan is set. Gringotts heist. Disguises again Hermione as Bellatrix this time, using Polyjuice. Ron disguised too. Harry under the cloak with Griphook.
It's an insane plan, breaking into the most secure wizarding bank. But they do it. They get past the goblins, the enchantments.
The thief's downfall waterfall washes away their disguises. They have to fight their way through. They face a dragon guarding the vaults.
A dragon? They actually manage to get into Bellatrix's vault, find Hufflepuff's cup, the Horcrux, grab it.
But Griphook betrays them, snatches the sword, and abandons them.
Typical. But they escape by freeing the dragon and writing it out of the bank.
Absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Crazy, but epic. One more Horcrux down, potentially. Well, they have it, at least.
But now Voldemort knows they're hunting Horcruxes. He feels the cup being taken. Harry sees it through their connection. Voldemort realizes his immortality is threatened.
Which means time is running out. Voldemort checks his other Horcruxes. He realizes the ring and locket are gone. He knows the cup is gone. He knows the Genie is safe with him. He thinks the diadem at Hogwarts is safe.
And that tells Harry where the next Horcrux is. Back at Hogwarts, Ravenclaw's lost diadem.
So they have to get back into the school. They apparate to Hogsmeade. Aberforth Dumbledore helps them, gets them into Hogwarts through a secret passage.
And they find Neville Longbottom and the remnants of Dumbledore's army who've been resisting Snape and the Carrows all year. The resistance is real.
Neville signals the order. Everyone starts arriving. McGonagall and the teachers realize what's happening. They confront Snape. He flees. And they prepare the castle for battle.
Voldemort and his army arrive. The Battle of Hogwarts begins.
Chaos erupts. Spells flying everywhere. Giants. Acromantula.
Amidst the fighting, Harry needs to find the diadem. He talks to the Grey Lady Helena Ravenclaw's ghost.
She eventually tells him, she's told from her mother, hid it in a hollow tree in Albania. Voldemort found it there years ago, turned it into a Horcrux, and later hid it in the Room of Requirement at Hogwarts when he came asking for a job.
The Room of Requirement, of course. The room that becomes whatever you need.
So Harry, Ron, and Hermione head there. Ron has the brilliant idea they need basilisk fangs to destroy Horcruxes. Hermione got some from the Chamber of Secrets earlier.
Smart thinking. So they go into the room, find the diadem amidst mountains of hidden junk. But Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle show up.
Crabbe unleashes fiend fire, cursed fire that destroys everything, including Horcruxes. He can't control it. It kills him, destroys the diadem Horcrux.
Then Harry, Ron, and Hermione barely escape with Malfoy and Goyle. Another Horcrux gone, but Crabbe is dead. The cost keeps mounting.
They hear fighting everywhere. Grop, Hagrid's giant half-brother, is fighting.
And then the terrible news filters through. Fred Weasley is dead. Colin Creevey, who sneaked back to fight, is dead. Percy Weasley is fighting alongside his family again.
Just devastating losses. Harry sees Voldemort furious, demanding Snape. He realizes Voldemort thinks Snape is the master of the Elder Wand because Snape killed Dumbledore.
Voldemort believes killing Snape will make the wand fully obey him.
Harry follows Voldemort to the Shrieking Shack. He watches, hidden, as Voldemort confronts Snape, accuses him, and then has Nagini kill him.
A brutal, cold-blooded murder. But as Snape is dying, he sees Harry, gives him his memories. Take them. Look at me.
Harry collects the silvery memories. He knows he has to see them. He goes to Dumbledore's office, uses the pencil.
And then the truth about Snape. Everything.
His childhood friendship with Lily Evans, Harry's mother, his love for her, calling her a mudblood in anger and shame, losing her friendship, his joining the Death Eaters.
Then overhearing the prophecy about Voldemort and Harry, telling Voldemort, realizing in horror he'd endangered Lily, going to Dumbledore, begging him to protect her, agreeing to do anything in return.
Becoming Dumbledore's spy. His grief and guilt when Lily died. His promise to Dumbledore to protect Harry, Lily's son, even though he despised James.
All those years of cruelty and protection intertwined. It's incredibly complex.
And the biggest revelations. Dumbledore asking Snape to kill him when the time came, because Dumbledore was already dying from a curse and wanted to spare Draco the task. A mercy killing, arranged.
Snape fulfilling Dumbledore's final request, solidifying his cover as Voldemort's man.
And the final piece. Dumbledore explaining that when Voldemort used Harry's blood to resurrect himself, he tethered Harry to life. But more importantly, when Voldemort hit baby Harry with the killing curse, a piece of Voldemort's soul broke off and latched onto Harry.
Harry himself is a Horcrux, an unintentional one, and Voldemort cannot die while Harry lives.
But for Voldemort to be truly killable, that piece of soul inside Harry has to be destroyed, and Voldemort himself has to be the one to do it.
Mind-blowing. Harry has to die. Willingly.
So he accepts it. He walks out to the Forbidden Forest where Voldemort is waiting. He uses the resurrection stone from the Smitch first, sees his parents, Sirius, Lupin. They give him strength.
He drops the stone, faces Voldemort, doesn't defend himself.
Voldemort hits him with the killing curse. Avada Kedavra.
And Harry finds himself somewhere else. King's Cross Station, bright white light, and there's Dumbledore. Or a version of him.
And Dumbledore explains everything. The twin cores of their wands, why Harry survived as a baby, why Voldemort couldn't touch him, the Horcrux inside him, how Voldemort using Harry's blood protected Harry from Voldemort's fatal curse.
Essentially, Voldemort's killing curse destroyed the piece of Voldemort's soul in Harry, but left Harry himself unharmed because of the blood protection.
And Harry sees the piece of Voldemort's soul like a flayed, whimpering child which cannot be helped. Dumbledore confirms Harry can choose. Go on or go back.
And he chooses to go back. To finish it.
He wakes up, pretends to be dead. Hagrid carries him back to the castle in despair. Voldemort proclaims victory.
But Neville Longbottom stands up to him, defies him, and as Voldemort tries to force the sorting hat onto Neville's head and set it on fire,
Neville pulls the sword of Gryffindor from the hat. The battle reignites.
Harry reveals himself. Pandemonium!
And in the chaos, Neville uses the sword to kill Nagini, the snake. The last Horcrux.
Voldemort is mortal now.
It comes down to Harry and Voldemort in the Great Hall. Harry explains the truth about the Elder Wand. Snape wasn't its master. Draco Malfoy became its master when he disarmed Dumbledore on the tower.
And then Harry reveals he disarmed Draco at Malfoy Manor weeks ago. So the Elder Wand's allegiance is to Harry.
Voldemort doesn't believe it, fires the killing curse. Harry fires a disarming charm. But the Elder Wand won't kill its true master.
Voldemort's curse rebounds, just like it did all those years ago. And Voldemort dies, finally, for good.
Wow, just recounting it all. It's intense.
It really is the culmination of everything.
And then the epilogue, 19 years later.
Back at King's Cross, platform 9 3/4. Harry, Ginny, Ron, Hermione, sending their own kids off to Hogwarts.
Albus Severus Potter, worried he'll be sorted into Slytherin.
And Harry reassures him. Named after 2 headmasters, one of whom was a Slytherin and perhaps the bravest man he ever knew. Choice matters more than ability or house.
A sense of peace, finally. The scar hasn't hurt in 19 years. All was well.
A hopeful ending after so much darkness.
So, wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are the big takeaways? It was a brutal journey, wasn't it? So much loss, betrayal, but also incredible bravery and sacrifice.
Definitely. And some truly surprising twists. Bathilda being Nagini, Dumbledore's complicated past, the whole Elder Wand allegiance thing. Moments that completely change how you see the story.
And hopefully diving into these excerpts like this gives you a real handle on those crucial turning points and character arcs without needing to reread hundreds of pages right now.
Exactly. A shortcut to understanding the core of this part of the saga.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. We talked about the Deathly Hallows, the idea of being the master of death. After everything we've seen, the sacrifices, the choices, what does that phrase really mean in this story? Is it about power or something else entirely?
And what are the ripples, the lasting consequences of the choices these characters made under unimaginable pressure? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. We hope you'll keep exploring those ideas. Until next time, keep diving deep.